Hey everyone, welcome back to Like a Boss. As always, got terrific guests here for you today. And today's star is the founder of Laudable. Here's what's interesting. Go check out her LinkedIn profile. She kind of pokes fun at the whole, I guess, old school notion of using a PDF case study. And she's talking about how Laudable brings it to life and really how she wants to use video to kill the PDF case study. So let's hear more from Angela. Hey, Angela.
Hey, thanks so much for having me. Really nice to chat.
Absolutely. So tell us about Laudable, what stage your company's at.
Yeah, so Laudable is early stage. We've been around for about a year. I started the company after getting fed up with the boring B2B archetype that results in lots of white papers and PDF case studies that say things like, our company is disrupting the marketplace for CRM, SaaS, cloud models. You write like lots of jargon, got sick of that. And also while realizing that video was an amazing way to engage with prospective customers was super expensive. So Laudable makes it really easy for and cheap for companies to produce video content, specifically videos featuring customers.
Oh, it's fantastic. And you're so right. You're breaking through all that cookie cutter where insert funky name of a company here with some combination of weird letters like X and Z and whatever. And it's all the same, right? So you're really breaking through that and customizing it and bringing that personal, I guess, level of branding to represent the company forward through the storytelling and video. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I think most companies acknowledge that they could be better at storytelling, and we all know that storytelling is a way to connect with us humans. But there aren't a lot of the playbook for how to do that at a company, particularly a B2B company, is not very robust.
So are you seeking funding or partnerships or both at this stage? Because you're still pretty early as a startup.
I would say we're seeking customers, number one. Maybe funding soon, but not at the moment.
Tell us about Laudable's mission.
So we really want to make it easier for content creators to make non-boring, unboring video content and do social proof. And all of that is remote, right? We don't believe in sending film crews. We use the cell phones that are basically video cameras that we all have in our pockets.
Oh, that's fantastic. So that just makes it even more broadly accessible than some of those other companies you hear about that send the whole sort of like kit and caboodle, and you got to figure out how to use that, set up, send it back, all of that. So you minimize all that hassle too.
Yeah, exactly. And we really believe that shouldn't be a burden on all of the participants to get video done and to produce video. So we do everything remote and really fast turnarounds, again, at a fraction of the price of traditional video production.
Ooh, with that answer, that's kind of a good segue as you're kind of queuing up the vision for the company. Tell us a little bit more about that.
So I think that the thing that I see companies do really well who are doing video, specifically in the B2B marketing space, they are creating one asset, doing one customer interview, for example, and then repurposing the crap out of that content. So creating a PDF case study, sure, 6 different videos, a social graphic, an audiogram, a web page, all from one single interview. So we want to help companies be able to do that and eventually automate it so that it's video first, almost like a Canva for B2B video.
Ooh, that's a nice visual. Good way to think about it that way. So tell us a little bit about what your team would say. What do you think makes you a good leader?
Ooh, so I think I am very self-reflective and I'm on a quest to constantly improve. And I think that helps me not get stuck in my ways and helps me really listen to what I can do better and what I'm doing well. And from a leadership perspective, I think that's really important.
Now, as a startup founder, you've had to do some hard things. Can you pinpoint what the hardest thing is that you've had to do?
So I think one of the hardest things in my entrepreneurship journey was specifically about a year and a half ago, deciding to shutter or to take a hard pivot on one business that I was starting. And is always a really hard call, but was particularly difficult to decide, should I persist and barrel on through, or is this actually not the right thing for me to focus my time and persistence on? Chose the latter and pivoted to Laudable, but that was a really tough call.
Yeah, there's so many tough calls in a given day. So I have to ask, as a founder, why do you do it?
Yeah, I maybe have a sickness, but I really like very difficult, challenging things. So for me, the building is rewarding because it is constantly overcoming challenges. I really like facing, battling, getting beaten up by, and hopefully eventually overcoming challenges.
Now, tell us a little bit about Laudable with respect to your competitive edge and how you're different from everybody else out there.
Yeah, so when it comes to video production, we are lower cost than traditional video. But I think what really sets us apart is our ability to create a lot of content that is engaging, creative, and high quality. So we're not just doing a Zoom recording. We have an app that we use to capture high quality 4K, if it's a new iPhone, footage, and then applying some really fun, creative, punchy, unique themes and designs and animations to those videos.
Yeah, that sounds fun. That's exactly the output everybody needs, right? It's a video world. We all want to see it rather than read it.
Yeah, and anytime one form of video becomes too common, it becomes rote and we start to tune it out. So there's really the need to keep things creatively fresh, and I think we're doing a good job of that.
Fantastic. Now, there's bad days too as startup founders, not to mention the bad days when you had to, like you said, shutter your earlier company. So tell us how you find the strength to keep going.
So I think it's really a matter of managing your own psyche and energy and knowing that there will be those bad days, not beating yourself up about that, not self-identifying saying, "Oh, why don't I want to get out of bed today? Why don't I want to be as productive as I can be today?" Instead of identifying and saying, "I'm going to just give up. This is not for me. I'm not cut out for this," is acknowledging that, doing what you can do, and then moving past it. So sort of subjugating to the process and knowing that there's going to be ups and downs.
Now, you've still got a long road ahead of you with respect to career opportunities and the chance to build other companies, but what's holding you back right now from being wildly successful?
So you're going to put my self-awareness to the test here. I think one thing that I am cognizant of and pay attention to in terms of limiting myself is this idea that we are getting out of your comfort zone, right? We are, when we become good at something, we receive validation in doing that thing well, whatever it is. And so yet to grow and expand and to do bigger things, you have to be willing to drop the thing you're good at and do something else that you're at first not good at. So I think continually reminding myself of that and not getting stuck in too small of a box is something that I really work on.
If I gave you some, I don't know, pixie dust from a fairy and said, Angela, you get to change one thing from your past, what would you change?
So my first thought when you say this question is I picture a yearbook that has a quote under a picture that just says no regrets, which was a quote in my high school. I would not change the trajectory of anything in my life or career. I think all of those things, sounds cliche, but all of those things made me who I am. And I would not change that. But I would change how I thought about certain things. I think I had a tendency to overthink and to worry. So really to let go of some of those fears and just keep moving on and knowing that I'm in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing, and all is good.
Now, from some of these frameworks and constructs that you've presented here, talking about sort of personal and professional development, sounds like you read a lot. Is there a book that you would like to recommend to our audience?
So I have a slew of nonfiction books that have really helped me in the last couple of years, but I'm going to go rogue with this answer and give a fiction recommendation. I have gotten back into fiction in the last 2 years, and it has been life-changing. I sleep better. I am calmer. I can actually shut off my brain, and it's been really fun. So one fiction book I love is The Nix by Nathan Hill.
All right, I'll just add it to the ever-growing list that I've got to keep up with all of my guests and keep up with their recommendations. All right, moving along here. So if you wanted people to know something about you personally or about your business, what would you like to share?
I would share that I genuinely enjoy chatting strategy on video and talking to people about their companies and what they're doing. So even if someone has a business or is in marketing and wants to sort of chit chat about what they might do from a video perspective, but isn't right to be a Laudable customer at this time or isn't ready for that purchase, I'm genuinely happy to chat about that. It's a lot of fun, and I'm happy to sort of give away the secrets that we've got.
Well, that's a great way that you're helping our audience, but let's flip things around. How can our audience help you?
Yeah, engage with me on LinkedIn. So I post a lot of content that are video interviews with marketers, with founders, and I always love to hear and want to hear from people on what they like, what they want to hear more of, what they think about, what a guest might be saying, all of that.
So you're hearing a lot from folks across the audience, the entrepreneurial space. Maybe you could offer a tip to our audience for the next generation of women in tech. What would you tell them?
Reject the archetype of what you're supposed to do. You are going to get so much advice, and so many people will give you guidance on this is what this should look like, or, oh, well, you should take this path. And there are many set paths, but you have to process that through your own intuition. I tell myself this every day, so this is as much for myself as anyone else, but don't do the thing that someone is telling you to do if it doesn't sit right with you. Carve your own path. It's not a box of crayons. You can pick your own, you can make your own shade or color. So reject that standard.
That's always been what I've done, because then I'm a contrarian and I do what fits me, not what fits everybody else. When I've tried,
carve your own path.
And the times that I've tried to fit into something where someone had said, that's your path, it hasn't worked.
Right. It ends up coming back at you, and it just doesn't quite fit.
Absolutely. Now, every one of my guests love this next question. They have a lot of fun with it, and they try to match their shoe style to their personalities. So in asking that question, are you defined as a boots, stilettos, sneakers, flats, or flip-flops type of person?
I love this question. So I don't know what it says about my brain, but I immediately picked sneakers and started to go down a rabbit hole of specifically what type of sneakers. And I think they would be high top, Nike high tops with a holographic symbol on the side. So sneakers, just because they're versatile, they're comfortable, most importantly, and they can sort of be worn in any terrain.
Awesome. Well, Angela, I think you're going to have your high top sneakers that are going to take you very far with Laudable. So we're excited that you took some time with us today and told us a little bit about how you're using video to get rid of the dull, boring, standard PDF case study. Thanks so much, Angela.
Thank you so much for having me.
And how about that fantastic intro by Touch Circle?